Can we talk for a minute about our Integrating Heart and Mind workshop?
Absolutely. I'm excited. It's coming up in the fall of 2024.
I'm so excited. We changed the format to make it more accessible to people with like work schedules and personal schedules. And so this time we're going to do it 3 hours on a Friday afternoon or evening, depending on where you're at, and 5 hours on Saturday for 2 different weeks in September.
Yeah, it's so great. Like if you're finding yourself stuck in like sticky bad patterns or having communication issues or something like that, or if you want to just like get closer and trust yourself or your partner more, this is the workshop for you.
Yeah, and individuals are welcome, couples are welcome. If you're interested in really thinking through how to serve yourself well inside of your relationships, then we've built a workshop that will support you in finding the ways that are just right for you.
To sign up, head over to our website at whydoesmypartner.com/events.
We hope you'll join us. Welcome to the Why Doesn't My Partner podcast. I'm Jules.
I'm Vickey.
And I'm Rebecca. We're your hosts. We're also couples therapists and messy humans bumbling through our own relationships every day.
We met through our training and practice of relational life therapy. Between us, we have more than 40 years of experience holding hard relational questions with our clients. We're going to bring those questions here.
And together, we're going to take a stab at answering those questions. This podcast is not a substitute for therapy. If something you hear in this episode stirs something deep within you about your relationship, reach out to a couples therapist in your area.
We also love to hear your questions, so don't forget to go over to whydoesmypartner.com and leave us a question of your own. Here's today's question.
So why does my partner say that I am therapizing them? Recently, when my partner and I have been having conflict, I try to come from a place of curiosity, talking to them and saying things that I've noticed and then asking why that might be. They tell me they feel I'm trying to be their therapist. I can understand why they could see it that way, but it's not my intention. I've told them it isn't my intention, that I'm just trying to understand their point of view, but they say it feels like I'm not trying to understand, but to analyze. Though aren't those the same thing? Do you have advice for balancing between coming from a place of curiosity, but not making them feel like I'm trying to be their therapist?
Yes, I have tons of advice for you.
Me too.
I don't.
Wait, here's a question, Vickey. Does your man tell you you therapize him?
Yes.
He does.
Yes.
Do you know why he says it?
No. Well, yes, but no. Like this, I don't know how to stop it.
Uh-huh.
Well, I do know for him, and this may be very different than the caller, but because poor Gabriel doesn't want to dig deep. He doesn't want to know. He's not curious.
Mm-hmm.
So it annoys him that I'm trying to get curious. So
Right. So let me check this out.
Yeah.
If you were curious but didn't care if he dove with you into the curiosity, would he have a different experience?
I don't even know what that would look like. I want to say yes, but I don't know what you mean.
Well, I think where I'm going with it.
Rebecca's like jumping out of her chair, by the way.
I know. I think where I'm going with it is there's a really big difference between actually being curious and trying to be curious. And there's a really big difference between actually wondering what depth is there or what is underlying something and wanting to get your partner to engage in that. And I think when we get into the agenda space with our person, they're likely to have a really negative response.
How do you not do it with agenda?
Oh, okay.
You're right. I have an agenda. Absolutely.
Yeah,
so,
totally.
So I think the not doing it with agenda is like leading from a heart space. It's like leading from a place of, oh, what's it like to be you right now?
But also being cool if they say, oh, I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah.
This is weird.
Yeah.
Stop being weird.
Okay.
And then you go, okay.
Yeah. Or you might say like, all right, if you want to go there, you just let me know. Or,
Mhm.
you know, like in my relationship, I get into this place where I'm therapizing my partner when I'm coming from a place of, I know that there's something deeper here and we really just need to, and if we could, and then, and his response is usually, you need to give me space to do this on my own time. I need to figure out that that's where I need to get.
Is he able to articulate that?
Well, we've been married for, I don't know, what is it, like 16 years now? Yeah, now he can.
Okay.
Did I do the math right? I hope I did the math right. But
16, 17, whichever.
Yeah, it's something like that. I know we've been together 20
right.
plus years, but you know, he can say it now. I don't know that he could have said it like even 7 years into our relationship, but he could say it now.
I have found that, and I'm stating the obvious, my tone, even in a good connected time, whatever, my tone is, Rebecca, different than yours. Again, I'm stating the obvious. We're different people. When I can say it to Gabe, like flippantly, like, I just wonder what's going on right now. He doesn't get annoyed. So like, Rebecca, I heard your tone and the change. It's not like me to ever come at anyone that gently. That's just not me.
It's just not how you talk.
It's exactly, that's what I mean. It's just not me. But when I do, my agenda changes when I become like less focused and more like, I'm just curious. And then he feels,
I heard it in your tone.
I heard it there too. Tone. I was going to say, if Gabe's been with you long enough, he knows the difference between your tones. Your tones might not sound like my tones, but your tones have different tones.
Yes, that's what I meant. Yes.
Yeah. And for some people, like heart-led makes a lot of sense. And for other people, heart-led doesn't make any sense. Here's another kind of more top-down intellectual way to think about the difference. One is you're actually expressing your own thought for the sake of connecting with your partner and expressing your own thought. And then the other one, you want him to answer a question. You don't want him to be just hearing that you have a curiosity. So like this, between the two, Vickey, there was one that was really attached to the outcome in the moment. That was the second tone. And the other one was more about sharing information. That was the first tone, right? So when I'm with my partner and I'm, it's interesting. Adam's never said this to me, that I'm therapizing him. He actually, I'm married to one of those really rare people who loves that I'm a therapist and wants to talk about this stuff.
I've heard Adam say to you, I've heard Adam say to you, why won't you therapize?
Exactly.
Yeah, totally. And that doesn't, and just because he doesn't say that, I mean, he does. He wishes I could be his therapist. But I would be a terrible therapist to him because I'm way too attached to outcome. I'm even thinking of, we had a sticky moment with our kiddo last night and we're kind of debriefing after, and I had to keep like feeling my seat and letting go of my breath because I kept noticing moments where I was wanting him to see something a certain way or wanting a certain kind of engagement. And when that would happen, I would breathe out, feel my seat, let it go. It's a moment to moment process. Let it go. He asks you for feedback. Don't worry about how he responds to feedback. Just give the feedback. Let it go.
Jules, for our listeners, could you go one step deeper in what do you mean by feel your seat? Because I think that's like a really important skill and one that a lot of folks who haven't been with us for a long time or even folks that have might not catch and understand what you're talking about.
Sure. So feeling your seat would often be called grounding or maybe coming into the present moment. It'll take you out of worrying about the past. It'll take you out of worrying about the future. I'm going to lead you through a little thing in just a second, but I want to tell you why I'm about to do what I'm about to do first. So the idea behind coming into the present moment is to get out of that goal-oriented thinking and back into relationship with yourself the present moment and whoever's in front of you right this second. That's the hope. And people will often call it grounding or mindfulness or coming into the present. Here's a quick way that a lot of people who see me and me as well find success in as far as finding their seat. So if you're not sitting down and you're in a space where it's okay to sit down, go ahead and find a seat somewhere. It could be on the ground, it could be on a chair, doesn't matter. Okay, now take a moment and see if it's possible to let your chair hold you up 5% more than you are right now. Trust it just a little bit more. It's got you. That's finding your seat. When you did that, Rebecca, I watched you do it with me. What shifted for you inside?
It was an awareness piece. Like I don't have to work so hard. I could let go a little bit and see if I could literally trust the chair. Like there's also like it's hard to put into words what that inner process is, but it
right?
It's this because it's this nuanced, like fine tune. You said it was 5%, right? Like it's this real. It's almost like you're dancing on a thread there, where you're just like, instead of being over here, can I be over here? And it's this small little adjustment, and inside of that adjustment is like a big expanse of like, oh, it's really different over here.
It's really different over here, even though it's a teeny tiny move. And a lot of times people will feel differently, like they'll feel muscles close to their bones let go a little bit. And for those who aren't as connected with their bodies, they'll often feel an ease in their mind, like their thoughts actually literally slow down by 5 or 10%. Like their inner dialogue relaxes a little bit. There's a little bit more spaciousness inside of it.
My experience is that time gets slower.
Yeah. All of those are signs that you came into the present moment a little bit more. And what that allows you to do is be less goal-oriented. And when I'm goal-oriented, I'm not relational-oriented. It's just they don't coexist. They're both great states. I love goals. I'm all for goals. It's just I can't attach to the outcome of a goal and be in responsive relationship with you simultaneously. So for this caller, probably what's going on is when you're trying to be curious, you're literally trying to do the words curiosity, but you may be attached to a particular kind of outcome. You may be attached to your partner responding in a way that you're hoping for. And if you are, they'll read it from 1,000 miles out.
There's an urgency behind it when you're doing it as someone who does it. So it's, you said something just a minute ago, Jules, that I'm going to botch, but it was like, you can't have the goal of relational or relationship and the goal of agenda at the same. You said it better, but
yeah.
And
relationship is responsive, right?
Yes.
So
well, and it's the word that came to my mind was fluid.
Yes.
And if I have a goal, then my goal is like static, and a fluid relationship can't hit a static goal, because what if wherever that relationship piece goes in that moment doesn't hit that goal I wanted? It doesn't mean that our relationship didn't progress.
Totally. And to get super technical about it, your heart rate variance no longer supports relationality and connection and bonding behaviors when you're goal-oriented. It flattens, it raises and flattens so that you have the energy you need to get the goal. But when your autonomic nervous system does that, physiologically, connection and bonding behaviors are no longer supported. So I'm not speaking metaphorically, though I love your metaphor of fluidity. You saw me put both hands up in the air like you just won a freaking goal when you said that. But I'm actually speaking
we're not
about
after a goal, but she won one. Sorry.
Right?
Sorry.
You had to, though. I didn't even catch it.
Really did.
Right? Of course you did. So I'm literally speaking about physiology here. You cannot do them at the same time. So let me break this down. Let's go back to my daughter doesn't. It's because of your heart rate variance, literally. So your heart rate variance, your body's reading your mind is reading your body all the time to see what's available and what's not. And so literally when your heart rate raises and flattens, your mind is looking at that and going, got it, we're doing agenda now. Which is great if you're putting on a shoe, by the way.
Or if you're
'Cause I
writing
need to get the
a
shoe
book
on.
or you're preparing a presentation or you're filing your taxes or you're working
Totally.
on a project, there are times where that is great.
Totally. So let me break it down in a really small moment. So my kiddo now puts her shoes on by herself, but let's go back to when she was like 2.5, 3. If I wanted to have a relational...
shoes and toddlers. Oh my God, no.
Oh my God, it's insane. Right?
Oh my God, that's
Oh,
trauma.
it's so hard.
Oh my God.
It's
Just
trauma.
put your
It's trauma
shoes
for
on.
every
Let's
parent.
go. Okay, sorry.
Put your shoes on. We need to get in the car. Totally. So let's go back to one of those moments. Let's say I wanted to be in a connection bonding space, but I also need to get the shoes on. Well, I can't do those simultaneously. So let's say I'm really good at this. I'm really good at finding my seat. Here's what I can do. I can go, okay, I'm going to put the shoe on. I'm going to break eye contact. I'm going to get the shoe onto the toe. She wiggles her foot. I let go of the goal. I feel my seat for a second. I let the ground that I'm sitting on hold me up just a little bit more. And all of this happens because I'm pretty practiced, so I'm decent fast at it. And I know that I may never get the shoe on this child's foot, but it doesn't matter because right now I'm not doing that. I'm playing, I'm connecting and bonding. And I'm like, I know, we're about to go to the park. It's so exciting. Your leg is moving lots. I love it. And she goes, shoes, mommy. I go, right. And I drop my head back down and I get the shoe onto the back of her foot. Now we've got the other shoe to do, but that's not what I'm doing right now. I'm feeling my seat. I'm letting it go. As far as I can tell, we're never going to get out the door. We're never going to let the shoes go. That's not a problem. In this moment, when she tells me this thing about her friend who's going to meet us at the park, I'm totally present with her and I'm hearing, and I'm like, yeah, that's super cool. Do you guys going to go to Fairyland? Is that where you went last time? No, it was Unicorn Land. You're totally right. And I go, other shoe. I drop my head down. I put the other shoe. I see she's already taken off the shoe I just put on. That's okay. We're never going to get the shoes on. That wasn't the point. Drop the goal. And now I'm back with her. Now, this drives my husband crazy because it takes us 10 minutes to get the shoe on.
Only 10? God, you guys are fast.
Totally. It takes me 10 minutes to get the shoe on. But what my goal is in that moment is to move rapidly back and forth between task positive thinking, agenda-oriented thinking, and dropping that and moving back into relationality. If I can move really fast between those, then I can get something done and be in relationship at the same time. If, however, I'm not as practiced, and Lord knows there's been lots of times where I've screwed it up or not been very practiced at it, it's better to do one or the other, but not both.
So to sum that up, it's hard to go back and forth between goals and relationship. And so if you're task oriented and your goal is to understand or come at your partner with this place of curiosity, if that's the goal or the task, then you're not actually in relationship. And so fluttering back and forth between the two and being able to connect to your partner and be in that relational space with your partner is going to be picked up on by your partner, because they're going to feel that they're like, the foot that's trying to get the shoe put on it.
Totally. So if I really want to do this well, what I have to do is make a U-turn before I speak and ask myself, what's the hope here? And if you actually want something, better to make it a direct request than to pretend you're curious if you're not.
Can I just say one thing in there though? Because this has hooked me and gotten me into trouble. And in my learning space, like I'm getting better at this. I'm more practiced at it, but damn, I really believed I was curious.
I was just thinking that. Yeah.
Like it.
And I have clients who will say to me, but I am curious.
Yeah. Yeah. And
I think it's both and.
It is, because what I'm learning is that my curiosity usually has behind it either a timeline or an agenda.
Speak, girl, speak.
Right?
Yes.
Or it has behind it. Oh God, I can't believe I'm saying all this.
I love you so much right now.
Yeah. It often has behind it something like, well, but I want you to prove me right. Like, because I know this. And if only you could, but I'm not saying that because I'm not even saying it to myself. Like, it's not even in my consciousness. It's just part of the agenda that's leading that curiosity. Right. And there's other qualities that it might have too, but those are some of them. Right. And so there's that pressure underneath that curiosity. If there's any kind of pressure under my curiosity, it's not actually curiosity, no matter how much I want to call it that.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. And it really does feel like I'm curious because I'm wondering. And I get that. You are wondering. I'm not discounting that.
Yeah.
But you're wondering with an agenda under it. It's going to sound like therapizing. This is what gives therapists a bad name, by the way. It's because plenty of therapists are out there wanting you to be different than you are. And if you've ever felt that in a therapist's office, I promise you, you're not wrong.
Thank you for that. I do want to pause on that for a second. Because that's so true. I mean, that we could do a whole podcast just on that. So thank you for saying that. Because Rebecca, you said pressure. I was saying urgency. They're close enough. And I just found, for me, it's the urgency of like, I want to get to know you so we stop doing this.
Yeah, totally.
That's
See how there's a goal.
Same as curiosity.
It's not the same. You can feel it. It's not the same.
And that's where mine comes from, is this little girl inside that's like, let's crack the code. If we crack the code, we won't keep doing this anymore. But it comes across as curiosity because, honey, I really want to know why you're acting that way.
And by the way, that little girl who wants to crack the code, she has a freaking goal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And
to crack the code to never have the thing again.
Pattern. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The goal is to never have the thing again, rather than the goal being something like this, like I'm going to share me with you, or I'm going to really wonder about something going on with you, and knowing that it may not be time for you to answer me. And by the way, if you don't, that's cool.
Can I end us with a piece of advice for our person who's asking the question?
Oh, sure. Love it.
I have found something that works.
Ooh, fun.
And it's
to bring you out of agenda?
To bring me out of therapizing my partner, to bring me out of agenda. I have found something that works. And actually, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I have to let go of curiosity. And what I move into is, I just want to be here with you. I just want to help undo your aloneness.
That's interesting.
I just don't want to leave you alone with this. So how can I just be present? And sometimes my presence means that I'm quiet and that I give you space. And sometimes my presence means I'm listening. And sometimes whatever it is, but my presence means that I'm letting you guide us, because I'm just going to show up and not leave you alone with this. And so it's not curiosity.
It's actually a longing just to be with. And I notice you're naming it from an I position. I just want to be with you.
I just want to be with you.
Yeah. Which is so great, because then you're not looking for them to show up in any particular way.
No. And it's got to be okay if they respond by saying, and I need to be alone right now.
Yeah, it's a request.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Shall we land it? Right. Love each other best you can.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
That wraps up this week's episode. Join us again next week for another Why Does My Partner?
We hope that you continue to listen wherever you get your audio and that you'll follow the show.
To go deeper, join us at our boot camp. You'll find the next date at whydoesmypartner.com.
Did you know you could ask us your question?
Your questions are relational gold.
Go to whydoesmypartner.com to either write in or record your question for a future episode.